That's a shame that they've got the screen in my tree. They do that in church too. I don't want to. And you know I'm going to go have one. Are you a breath? You got 2 rolls.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Surprise, it is morning. We're starting a little early today.
We've got a very special, large program. But good morning. Thank you all for being here so much. It's so good to see you. Man, I missed y'all last Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
But I hope you had as much to eat as I did. It was really nice. I watched my mom and grandma cook for years and years and years. They would start probably a week before before Thanksgiving, and cook and cook and cook and cook. And I remember my little tiny grandmother. She was about 5 foot tall, but she would be working over the stove and over the oven, and little streams of perspiration would be sliding down the side of her face. And so for the last 2 years, I've had Holly Tree do our lunch, and it's just wonderful. And I just have to tell you, if you get tired of the cooking, for $295, I bought the most magnificent Thanksgiving for my entire family that you could ever dream of, complete with pies and everything, and a 20-pound turkey. I mean, it was a feast. So anyway, enough about that. I just pray that your Thanksgivings were wonderful and that you had so much to be thankful for, especially family. Having my 90-year-old mother is really a gift, and so we have a lot of fun at the holidays. Okay, everybody, please turn off your cell phones so I don't have to embarrass you later if it were to ring. And please give our pianist today, Vicki Conway, a big hand. That takes you right straight from Thanksgiving into the Christmas spirit, big time. I love it. Thank you so much, Vicki. So talented. And now, if you'll all stand, we're going to have Allison Cambry lead us in the pledge and the national anthem.
Let us face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, in liberty and justice for all. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early lovely beam as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Always want to applaud after the national anthem. Okay, if you'll go ahead and have a seat, I'm going to invite B.J. Hornbostel to come from up front. So nice to have B.J. back. Boy, we missed you, girl.
Thank you.
And she's going to do the invocation and introductions for us.
What a blessing it is to have the opportunity to gather together. Pray with me, please. Dear Lord, we are so grateful. We are so grateful to wake up each morning. We are so grateful to gather together and to serve our community and our world through Roach blessing. And our circumstances this year have really required us to look at those blessings and to be grateful. We ask your blessings on each one of us as we move through service. We ask you to bless the food, bless the hands that prepared it, and bless us as we move through, completely through this circumstance. Amen.
Okay, you got to do introductions for me too, you know.
Oh. I get in that prayer mode and I forget everything else. Okay, do we have any visiting Rotarians today? No. Do we have any guests at this head table? Yes, Dixie. And who did you bring today?
Well, Jennifer's actually Jennifer. I know. She's
Yeah, you gotta stand up.
actually
Just smile. Everybody loves you.
She hasn't been inducted yet, and she's missed a whole lot of meetings, so I wanted to embarrass her.
Somebody's gotta work.
All right, good to have you back with us. And our table back here.
We have with us today Pete Tidwell, last week, and he's from Colorado, and he is here living in Clinton. He's involved in telecommunications.
Well, he brought that cold weather with him. That's where it came
That's where it
from.
came from. But he's turning in his application to become a club member.
Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome.
Opportunity to enjoy our life, and he too has, we met him at the gun reception, he's received our lot, and he too is turning his application.
Welcome. Okay, do we have any guests at our good old boys table there? Just the good old boys, huh? Well, we're always glad to see you. Back here in the corner?
Yeah, Katie Hall from that junior college out north.
Okay.
If you're worried where your admissions application is,
All right.
and I believe I saw a member application here.
Welcome. Yes, Dennis.
Yeah, I feel like a guest to meet but Darwin today,
Welcome. Welcome. Good to see you, Dennis. And over here by the door?
My friend Patty came back with me. She was here the week before last, and but she's back in here.
Welcome. And our guest, yes, Larry.
Good day. Jim Hutchins is back with us today. He has also in his pocket his completed membership application.
Yay.
I couldn't find anybody else to.
Great, welcome, Jim.
And so I did.
Thank you. And all our guests at the guest table here will be introduced shortly. Welcome, each one of you.
Oh, thank you, BJ. Oh, it's so fun to see such a big room full of beautiful people today. We truly are thankful for you to be here. Paul, don't look around like that. Okay, now then, I want to thank the greeters for the day. King Ramey, I saw you standing in up there. Or were you just helping out or what? You look so cute. You're a really good greeter. And Robert Wells, our dear Robert Wells. Thank you guys. They're just out there trying to make you feel welcome. And now for everybody's very favorite part of the program, This Week in History, by our own famous DJ, radio host, radio owner, Paul Gleiser.
Yes, the DJ part was a long time ago. Today, on the 3rd of December, in 1968, Dr. Christian Barnard, a South African surgeon, completed the first heart transplant on a 54-year-old grocer. He lived for 18 days, succumbing to pneumonia, which resulted from the immunosuppressing drugs. On the 4th of December, 1783, George Washington bade farewell to his officers at Francis Tavern in New York City. As he resigned his commission, he said, with a heart full of love and gratitude, "I now take leave of you. I most devoutly wish that your latter days may be as prosperous and happy as your former ones have been glorious and honorable." Less than 4 years later, Washington would be summoned out of retirement to the chair of the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. On the 5th of December 1933, ratifying conventions in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Utah gave the 21st Amendment the states it needed to become part of the Constitution. It repealed the 18th Amendment, adopted in 1920, which made the manufacture, transportation, and sale of intoxicating liquids for beverage purposes illegal. It was the only amendment to be ratified by state ratifying conventions. All other amendments have been ratified by state legislatures. It is the only amendment that nullifies a previous amendment, and news of all of this reached Tyler a couple of years ago. Sunday, the 6th of December, 1865, war on the Constitution. With the assent of the state of Georgia, the 13th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified, abolishing slavery 76 years and 7 months after the nation's founding. On the 12th of December, 1941, 353 Japanese fighter planes, bombers, and torpedo planes in 2 waves staged a surprise attack on the United States Naval Base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The U.S. declared war on Germany and Japan less than 24 hours later. On Tuesday, the 8th of December in 1980, John Lennon was shot and killed by a deranged fan outside his apartment building in New York City. Mark David Chapman, an obsessed fan, had obtained an autograph earlier in the day. It remained on the scene after the shooting, waiting on police to arrest him. Chapman is serving a life sentence in a New York prison near Buffalo, New York. He's been denied parole 11 times, the most recent on August of this year. He's next eligible in August of 2022. And finally, on Wednesday, the 9th of December, 1992, British Prime Minister John Major formally announced the amicable, and that's in quotes, separation of Charles, Prince of Wales, and his wife Diana. Diana was given $30 million and was stripped of her title, Her Royal Highness. She would die in a car crash in Paris in August of 1997. Birthdays in the coming week, Ozzy Osbourne turns an inexplicable 72 today. Julianne Moore also celebrates a birthday today. She turns 60. Tomorrow, Jeff Bridges will turn 71. Tuesday of next week, Kim Basinger will turn 67. And Wednesday of next week, Donny Osmond will turn 63.
Whoa.
And that's this week in history.
I don't care how old Kim Basinger gets, she is a stunning beauty.
I'm with you.
But Paul, so nice to have you bring us This Week in History. It's so fun and interesting, and I love it. All that stuff makes me feel old and young at the same time. Okay, now then, we have a table here, and I can just see this bubble over the table that says IQ, higher than the rest of the room. We've got these really smart high school students, and if Mary Birch and King Ramey will come forward to introduce them to us, we can be honored to learn all about them.
Honored to have White House High School with us today, and from White House we have Alex Clark, which I'm guessing that's you, and then Principal Josh Garrett. There you go. And today we're going to honor both a female and a male, the outstanding high school student chosen by their counselors and principal, I'm sure. The first winner today is Jayla Thompson. Would you like to come up? And with her, her parents, Ladina and Jeremy Thompson. Looks like and here's Jayla. She has a few accomplishments, all outstanding. She received the Ryla Rotary Youth Leadership Award last year. King and I just did an hour and a half of Ryla interviews this morning with John Tyler, now Tyler High School. It's fascinating, big win. She also won the Tyler Rotary Young Citizens Club last year in April, and she was the White House High School Volleyball 2020 Student Athlete of the Year. She also is Volleyball Academic All District 2019 to 20. She's a 3-year volleyball athlete, a 4-year track and field athlete, and a 2-year basketball athlete. She is the Texas State Athletic Trainers Association All-State Academic Achiever. Wow, that was huge. She is National Honor Society, National Society of High School Scholars. She is Beach and Debate Club and Key Club. She's also a student athletic trainer. Jayla plans to pursue a degree in mechanical engineering at Prairie View A&M University. Congratulations, Jayla. If it's okay, we'll do pictures after the program's ended, and they're short. Both Alex and Jared and everybody have to get back to school by 2.
Our second senior we'd like to hear about is Cy Ibarra. Cy, why don't you come on up, please? Joining him is his parents, Katie and Sonny Ibarra. Thank you for being here. We recognize Cy Ibarra today for many accomplishments. National Honor Society, captain of the White House football team as well as track team. What position do you play?
Middle linebacker.
And your second round playoffs?
Yeah, we haven't been so bad.
Yeah, okay. Who do y'all play tomorrow?
Texas High.
But you're in the playoffs.
Yes,
I'm curious. HOSA, Health Occupation Students of America, and was part of RILA, Rotary Youth Leadership Award recipient. He plans to attend A&M University and major in nursing. Congratulations. Thank you. Standing.
Why don't we do a standing ovation for our 2 winners today?
There you go.
Thank you, King and Mary, and congratulations, Cy and Jayla. How awesome. And so special to have you here with us today. We appreciate you taking time and bringing your special people with you to come today. It's always an honor to get to honor you. I wish I'd paid more attention in high school. Anyway, okay, enough of that. Let's see, I'm going to call David Jones forward. Actually, I did get a scholarship to Temple Junior College for basketball, Jayla. I went down and worked out with them a week during the summer and found out they were a lot more serious about basketball than I was. So David Jones is going to make some very special presentations for us today.
Thank you, Madam President. Today we have the great opportunity to make a couple of awards from our Tyler Local Foundation. So I'd like to invite Dennis. You would come forward, please, sir, from the food bank. We did a challenge grant application to our district, and they said yes. And so that means we were to raise money to go up against the challenge grant, and it's not working very well.
There you go.
Anyway, so I'd like to present to the food bank a check for $2,808. And he said a while ago that he'd need to introduce himself as a guest because he's not been here. Well, he's been busy. This COVID thing has just about worn his staff and his business out. So these funds will come in very well. You want to say a word about that?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, thank you all so much. We have been really busy. I'm sure you've heard a lot of the stories about the people that we've been feeding, more direct in those major mega distributions. It's amazing how long the lines have been. And they haven't gotten any shorter. In fact, some of them have gotten longer. We were at Green Acres Baptist Church last Friday, I think, and We almost ran out of food. I think we served over 1,200 families that day.
Wow.
So we'll be returning back there again on the 19th, doubling up on our trucks. But this will go a long way. This is going to be a marathon, right? It's not going to be over soon. God willing, things will improve quickly. After we get vaccinated and we get our economy back up and running and get our families back to work. But thank you so much from all the people that we serve. We couldn't do it without generous donors like you. And I'm always proud to walk past that Rotary sign with the food bank.
Exactly.
Every time I go by there, it's just amazing. They're just amazing people.
I know this plaque looks real well, and he can take it home with him, and we'll do some pictures afterwards. But this is the real check.
Oh, thank you.
That is what makes the difference. Okay. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
We'll do some pictures later.
We'll also take any extra checks you want to write today. Save you 50 cents.
And the second event that I'd like to share with you today is with regard to the challenge grant that was issued to us by Pam Walters and her Pam Walters Group company. And she issued a challenge of $2,500 to the club that she would match if we were to raise those funds. Well, let me read the press release, okay, from that project, if you don't mind. And this was very well written.
I wonder who wrote it.
I wonder who wrote it. Anyway, Pamela Walters and the Pamela Walters Group issued a 1-to-1 challenge grant for Camp V to the Rotary Club of Tyler. Camp V is a one-of-a-kind veteran benefit assistance facility sponsored by community assisting military personnel and veterans whose mission is to help build a stronger community of support that eases military families when transitioning back into civilian life or in times of crisis and or with life planning issues. When the club raises $2,500 to match of $2,500 from the Pamela Walters Group, will be given the check for a total gift of $5,000. This exciting challenge grant is targeted to coincide with East Texas Giving Day as a part of the International Giving Day emphasis where Rotarians from around the world are encouraged to give philanthropic causes in their communities that will positively impact their people. On Tuesday, December 1st, Pamela Walters and members of the Pamela Walters Group, along with representatives of the Rotary Club of Tyler and members of Camp V leadership team, met to share in this exciting gift exchange. The Rotary Club of Tyler raised $4,000. Surpassing the Walters Group Challenge grant of $2,500, making a total gift of $6,500. Speakers are trained to pause when they want applause, so y'all did that very well. And here's a quote. "I'm so proud of my club's efforts to surpass our challenge of $2,500 because Camp V's mission is dear to my heart, and I am so pleased that we were able to give these funds in support of veterans of East Texas," stated Pamela Walters. Michael Chickwitz, director of Camp V, said, "These funds will go directly in support of several programs directives that are currently underway and are in need of additional funding." He also indicated that plans are being developed for a comprehensive capital campaign to be launched in the very near future. Susan Campbell, Camp V's board of director chair, shared in an open invitation to the public to come by Camp V for a tour and see all the exciting programs and plans that are being made for veterans of East Texas. So I think our club ought to be very well commended. And so we have already presented this check, but I can't give them the real check until y'all put in your pledges. So this is a pitch for us to those who have pledged to go ahead and close this out so we can give them the real money, if you don't mind, please. Thank you so much for helping us with this.
I got the picture from Camp V's. Yeah. and posted it on our page.
I can't thank you all enough, everybody who donated and even those who are supporting Camp B in your heart. There's no way to really express the way I feel about Camp B and what we do for veterans. I have to say that I was one of those people who thought it was wonderful that people went off to war and fought for our country and for freedom. And but I really know now that I took that so for granted, and I regret that for most of my life I didn't really recognize my father, who was in World War II and was on a PT boat. And I actually learned recently that he actually did some heroic deeds. The things that are called for from these men and women who serve our country are just unbelievable, and none of us ever really, it's hard to relate to what they've been through, but I know that I've visited now with many veterans, and I know that the adjustment from military life back into civilian life is a very, very difficult one. And Camp B is a place where our veterans can go. They can visit with one another and have camaraderie. All the services for veterans is going to be there. They will all be housed there. There are several there now already. They're going to also have a gym, a little cafeteria, but mainly just to make their lives easier. And so my heart is with Camp B and with you for being so generous. And I want you all to come. We'll have an occupation meeting out there one day, but I want everybody to tour Camp B at some point so you can be proud of East Texas. There is no other Camp B in the United States of America. Ours will be #1, and it will be a role model for other Camp Bs across the country. And it will be a huge feather in Tyler's cap. So it's inside the loop by Boshears Elementary School on 22 acres. And it's really something to be proud of here in Tyler, Texas. So enough about Camp B, but thank you from the very bottom of my heart. Okay. All right, now then. Okay, now then, we've done all that. Trying to get through all this today. Rotary business. I'd like to call Ashley Wilson up today. She has been the, I guess, I don't really, there's really not a word. President, chairman, CEO, leader, but she has been the most gracious, intelligent, tireless person that I can even, I can't, there's no word. My vocabulary doesn't accommodate a word that really says enough about Ashley and what all she's accomplished. It's putting on a parade is a monumental task. And we're Tyler, I think we have 60 floats, but it's huge. There's so much involved, there's so many details, but anyway, I want to thank Ashley for the job she's done and for being my friend. And I'm going to let her tell you about where we are with the parade today.
Thank you. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Ashley L. Wilson. I am the chair of the 2020 Rotary Clubs of Tyler Drive-Through Christmas Parade. We have all of our city and county officials blessing, hallelujah, amen. A lot of people are really behind what we're doing this year, so we're really excited. Now, some people still don't understand the term drive-through. However, when you go to McDonald's and you get in the line, you drive through. So that is exactly what this parade is today. Tomorrow. Wait, no, Saturday. I went to bed at 12:30 a.m., so excuse me. So we have a little over 60 entries. We have high school bands, middle school bands, dance teams. We actually have a dance team out of Longview. I'm excited to see them on the route on Saturday. We have the Clydesdales. Express is bringing in the Clydesdales again. Brookshire's is going to bring that big shopping cart that they do every year. It's going to be really, I'm not going to do what they did, but it's going to be really exciting. And I'm just honored to chair a group of amazing Rotarians. The past 2 weeks we have been running, and we are on the 4th lap of the race, and we are ready to go Saturday. So please share, like, post are what we're putting on Facebook, because we need to get the word out so everybody understands the parade route. Spectators will enter off of Gentry and North Broadway. Participants will enter the parade route off of Front Street and South Broadway. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I will be connected to all the things until Saturday at 12 p.m. After that, I will not talk to anybody about 3 days.
Does anybody have questions about the parade?
I've got a comment.
Okay.
Some of the Facebook comments were negative because it was in the daytime. Macy's does their parades in the daytime. Others didn't understand the drive-through concept. Compare it to Santa Land, where you're charged to drive through.
That's a very good analogy.
And the parade is free. There have been people on Facebook trying to sell tickets to it. So please let everybody, I wish this was a joke. Please let everybody know the parade is free.
And when I first heard that it was going to be a drive-through Christmas parade, I was clueless. I had absolutely no visual of how that would look. But now, I mean, I've seen pictures, which help a lot, but all of the floats and all of the people participating in the parade they have spaces on Broadway where they will all be located. And the viewers will actually be in their cars entering from Broadway and Gentry, entering Broadway from Gentry, and they will actually drive by. The speed limit minimum, I think, is 5 miles per hour. You cannot go less than 5 miles per hour, so that's pretty slow. That's long enough to let you look at and see pretty clearly what's out there. And it's going to be really cold Saturday morning. I think the parade starts at 10. Starts at 10 o'clock. I think that we'll be out there at 6. And so it's going to be cold, so it'll be really nice to be in your car and drive through and see the parade. But it's really going to be beautiful and wonderful. And I, for one, am so incredibly excited about it because everybody else is canceling their parades. But we found a way to have our parade. And this is the way we're doing it, and with all the government, city, local government support. So, I mean, I would love for you, and also I would love for all of you to come to the parade Saturday morning. It'll be a blast. I mean, you don't even have to have kids to come enjoy it, so hang on.
Okay, this is the last thing. I just wanted to talk about, hello? Okay, there we go. I just wanted to talk about how we are setting the blueprint for what this looks like in the middle of a global pandemic for the district and for other Rotaries, nationally and international, because everybody else has canceled theirs. So we really want to show up Saturday and show them that the Rotary Club of Tyler has set the tone, and if they want to do this next year, they need to come and ask us how to pull it off, because we were successful.
Ashley, could you, the flyer, could you email that to everybody?
In the club?
I would think so.
Yes.
Because we could all
I
post
just want to
it
show
on
you the
Facebook.
logistics of it's on Facebook.
Yes.
I didn't, maybe it's on Facebook, but if you go to the Tyler Rotary Club, it's not there.
And I will update the Rotary Club page after this as well. And I will send it to the club, or myself, or
I
one of us.
already dropped it off in my chiropractor this morning.
Okay, thank you. And that's it. We hope to see you Saturday.
Just wanted to show you the logistics of all of this. See all these little yellow squares on this page? This is where all the participants are. So space marking and everything else, there is no room at the end for anybody else to come. But this is what Ashley and the rest of the parade committee has been diligently working on to make sure we've social distanced and done this the right way. So just kind of the logistical, when she says she didn't want to talk to anybody for 3 days, I don't blame her, because she's been working like this. She finished redesigning the map and moving slots around last night based on packet pickup and things that people were telling me when they were picking up when we thought it was a vehicle, and like, oh no, I'm bringing a trailer, and like, they're staying. So they've already said they're coming, and we're just trying to make it work. So start your patience and your grace, and we're going to get this done, and it's going to be awesome.
And And she said, and it's going to be awesome, and it is going to be awesome. So come out if you can. I would love to see you there. Okay. Rotary Day for Salvation Army bell ringing is December the something 10th at Butchers on Rice Road and Dillard's. Dixie Walker has the sign-up sheet, and I don't know.
It's going around, I think.
I don't know how we're going on it, but I hope it's filled up because I've already signed up. Okay, our program for next week is going to be Suzette Fair with Mentoring Alliance. And I'd now like to invite David Jones back to the front to introduce our program for today.
Bicycle bill.
That was in the midweek work.
I know. Oh, okay, don't mention it.
Yeah, we're packed. I think we're up till December 17th.
Sign up for the bell ringing. It's a lot of fun. Last year at Dillard's, a lady drove up, got out of a pickup, came over and gave me a bucket of coins. They came to Tyler to do their Christmas shopping from Sulphur Springs. And she saved their coin all year long to bring it to Dillard's. She filled up the bucket at one trip.
Is there competition between us and Tyler?
And Sunrise. You bet.
There's always competition.
And we've always won, so we just need to keep it that way.
Yeah, just keep up the challenge game. It's my privilege today to introduce our program. Dr. Tidwell, president of UG Tyler, had a conflict this morning and was not able to join us. And at last minute, like most presidents do, they have all kinds of people on their staff down line. And so, by the way, I've got something you need to go do for me now. And so we have today the Vice President for Marketing and Public Relations, Lucas Roebuck. And I'm sorry, Lucas, I think this mic maybe get a little weak, so you may have to project a little bit. But anyway, or it makes it sound like you wah, 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 or whatever. But anyway, Lucas came to Tyler from Arkansas, so we could say that's an outside country. But anyway, he got down to God's country as quickly as possible. And so we're just glad to have him as a part of the UT Tyler team. So let's give a really warm welcome to Lucas Roebuck, UT Tyler.
Well, truthfully and honestly, first of all, Dr. Tidwell does send his regrets and he apologizes he can't be here. But when he said, hey, I need you to go to Rotary, I perked up because every time I end up at a Rotary, I'm always encouraged and blessed. My first time I spoke for Rotary was probably about 30 years ago, and I was like some of these high school students here speaking in the Rotary 4-Way Test Speech Challenge. I think I got second place. I still have the plaque somewhere in my attic somewhere. And so I've always appreciated the encouragement. And you come and of course, and this is why you guys are part of Rotary, right? You come and you are blessed because we are engaging. And in many ways, I like to think that you guys are what we are at UT Tyler. We're the Patriots. And you guys are Patriots. And we like to say that, being a Patriot fundamentally is serving others, putting others in front of yourself. You think about our people in the service who put their country in front of themselves, right? They're patriots. And so I see all sorts of acts of patriotism. It's what a privilege to sit here and listen for the first half of this program to all the wonderful acts of patriotism. And I think gone before us. Unfortunately, my grandmother was 96 years old. She was a World War II veteran and passed away this last weekend. And she was in the Pensacola Air Base, obviously a woman at that time was not on the front lines, and helped train our Navy airmen in their airplanes, back many years ago. And that whole generation of World War II veterans we're losing a lot of them every day. But it doesn't mean we don't keep appreciating them, and we all enjoy and don't take for granted. And in this time of Thanksgiving that we just come through, we all enjoy and don't take for granted the blessings that we all have. And I love coming to Rotary because I just see embodied in the people here and the joy and the gratitude and the thankfulness what all those veterans sacrificed for us. So thank you for being here. Today I just want to give you a really brief update about what's going on with UT Tyler. I have way too many slides and we have way too little time. So I'm going to ask my friend Paul Gleiser when I get too long just to give me the little wrap it up. He's a radio guy, he knows how to get you on to the next thing. So we'll go ahead and get started. So a About 3.5, 4 years ago, UT Tyler launched on a new strategic plan, and the core of that plan was our vision statement, and that was that we aspire to be the primary educational and economic driver of East Texas. And there were 4 pieces of that strategic plan. We talk about student success, student engagement, research, and community engagement, and we'll touch on each one. But we've been active in all those areas in our community, saying, hey, how can we, as the comprehensive university here in Tyler that serves all of East Texas, how can we uplift and improve our community and help our, not just in terms of students that we educate and set them on wonderful career paths, but also in terms of the research that we can do that will benefit East Texas and beyond. So one of the things I did want to talk about, kind of give you a little bit of update here, and this is something that I'm close to because one part of my responsibility is enrollment management, is kind of what happened this last year running it in this 2020 COVID year. So if you think about UT Tyler, like most colleges, we have a pretty long cycle of recruiting students. And you see what happened in this chart. So this chart here is the red line is 2020 and the green line is 2019. And this chart is the number of students, first time in college freshmen, that have put a deposit down and said, hey, we're coming. And so you see here in March, we were thinking, hey, we're pretty hot stuff. We're way far ahead in the red line or the green line. We have this nice gap. But then COVID, what's going to happen, right? And then, so what was really interesting, what we did, kind of what I call leaned into COVID. And we said, hey, what are the opportunities here? How can we really reach out and serve? And what do we need to be doing in response to COVID? And one of the things is you guys, as you learn, hey, it's so important to do a parade, right? It doesn't matter if it's a drive-through parade, but we need to do it. We have to keep living. We have to keep moving forward in this time. The university, we have the same mentality, right? We obviously want to do things safely. We want to do things following appropriate CDC guidance. But we said, hey, what can we do? What can we do to make sure that we're open as possible? And that's what we did. We're doing something called hybrid classes this fall, and we talked about this very early. We said, hey, you know what? If you come to UT Tyler, you're not going to be doing all online classes, right? And I tell you what, we had a lot of high school seniors who graduated in the spring of 2020 this year, and they did their last semester online, and they hated it, right? They didn't like it at all. They would rather sit out a year and do nothing than to pay and go to college and take classes. With Ashley working on it, my colleague there, but I'm glad to be taking my kids to the parade. So that's really what we need to do, and it's really what we did. And we telegraphed that out. We did a lot of advertising, some on a radio station in town too. As I mentioned that here. And we did advertising, you see right here, after we let people know, we figured out what we were going to do, we let people know what we were going to do. You see right here, we had
it worked, right?
Right here, yeah. And so really this is what ended up. We actually had our largest increase in first time in college freshmen in our history. We had a 26% year-over-year increase. Completely unheard of. I will never do that again in my career. So in some ways, everyone's like 2020, the most horrible year ever, right? From a career perspective, for us, it's been a phenomenal year. We have a lot of students engaged. We had a 7% increase in our transfers, which is such an important part of our history with our partners like TJC, Kilgore College, and some of the other schools around here. We had a huge year for transfers. Even graduate had a great year too. And so we leaned into COVID. We said, how can we do things safely? And one of the things I want to say that's really important is that we take COVID safety very seriously. And because we do, we have a very significant contact tracing team. You actually can go online, you can see all our cases, and we report all the data. We're very transparent about it. But we have no evidence of any spread of COVID in the classroom. Right? We have zero evidence of any sort. So whenever one of our students gets COVID, we go and our contact tracers go and figure out kind of what happened and how they got it. And it's a really testament to the staff at UT Tyler, to the environmental health and safety, to the faculty and so forth. We all worked really, really hard to make sure that we did things safely and appropriately on that case. So we had great new student enrollment. And it kind of speaks to our long-term vision of UT Tyler is kind of the makeup of our students here. And what you see here, this is 4-year charts, and the blue on the far side there is what we call first time in college. It's a freshman, right? First time in college. The orange is transfers, and the gray is graduate students. Those are new to UT Tyler. And what you see here is, what's interesting is that this is the first year in our history, and some of you guys know UT Tyler history, we started out as a finishing school, so to speak, where we were senior school and a graduate school, and then we added freshmen and sophomores about 20 years ago, right? This is the first year in our history that we had more first time in college new students than we had transfer students, right? And so the good news is too, we've had increases in both areas, so one hasn't been at the expense of the other. And so really what we've seen is we've put out a very strong message that what UT Tyler is, and that's this UT Tyler excellence, but this kind of Tyler, Smith County, East Texas friendliness, right? It's a very unique combination. It's a very great brand position for us, and we've had great growth. And where has that growth come from? That's a great question. I'm glad I asked myself. So where in the USA are our students from? We actually have students this year from, I believe, 46 states. Alaska and Hawaii aren't on here, but I believe we have from 4 states. So this is just kind of a picture. Now, most of our students come from Texas, but we do have a very broad appeal, and we have, as you can see, students from all over. These are our students from this fall. We're in Texas, right? All over Texas. Obviously, we have a huge cluster, here, we're kind of covered over here. We're very proud to serve our local communities first and foremost. That's where our students come from in Texas. DFW, right? It's a huge thing. So if you were to take and do the math on it, about 30% of our students come from the Metroplex, about 30% of our students come from the Houston area, about 30% from East Texas, and then 10% from everywhere else, just as a concept. So all over DFW and even all over Houston, right? Houston's a very important market for us. We do have, one of the things a lot of folks don't know is we have in Houston, we have Houston Engineering Center. And we actually have 500 students down. It's a partnership with Houston Community College. We have the second floor of one of their campuses where Houston Community College, Lone Star Community College down in the Houston area, they can finish their engineering degree and do the last 2 years there. And so we have a huge engineering program down there as well. And it's been a great pipeline even for our engineering students as they've been looking for engineering jobs. Obviously, we like to place and retain people here, but there are also a lot of job opportunities in the Houston area for engineering, and so we're able to connect with all those students down there. Where are our alumni? Our alumni are everywhere. 50 states, all over the world. Our alumni have come and gathered and spread out. We have about 38,000 alumni, and so we're really proud of them, some of them in this room. So the first, really briefly, and then we'll take some questions. The first pillar of our strategic plan is student success, and that really is kind of the core of what we do. It's our motto for students is your success is our passion. We really live and believe that, and so we really want to catalyze student retention. We want them to graduate and have early career preparation. We want students to do well in their careers, right? At the end of the day, as Dr. Tidwell likes to say, parents don't want their kids to come back and live in their basement or their spare room. They want them to go out and spread their wings and be successful, and we're committed to doing that. We have a huge program, a huge initiative, initiatives, plural, that Ashley's familiar with a lot of those, that we go engage our students. We want to make sure that they come, that they finish, and that when they're done, they go out and get a great job. We talk a lot about the true value of an education, and so one of the things, obviously, we want to let people know, based on statistics from the Census Bureau, that a college degree and more education in the end is a really good investment, and that's a really important thing for a lot of people to know. We know 4-year college isn't for everyone. We understand that, but we want to make sure that those students who have the desire and aptitude are able to come and take advantage of this opportunity. We have a number of scholarship programs. One I want to mention is a Reach Higher scholarship program. And that is basically, there's some provisos in it, but basically if your family income is less than $80,000 a year and you have a certain GPA level, then you can come, and whatever federal grants and state grants don't cover, UT Tyler will cover the rest. Because I think it's really important is that if a student has the desire and the aptitude to go to college, I think they should be able to go regardless of their financial situation. One of the things we're also really proud of is that we do I like to say we do a really good job of keeping our costs low. We're one of the lowest UT schools in terms of tuition costs. And there's a website called Lend.edu. What they do is they do a formula for all the schools in the nation. They say we figure out based on Census Bureau data what is the average salary of students coming out of your institution, and then we compare that to the amount of debt students have when they come out. And so our ratio puts us in the top 10% of the nation in the positive side. Low debt, high salaries. And obviously, when we talk about the college story, it's a really thing. And I think it's really good. A lot of parents are thinking about that now. Where a lot of students, people are more aware, saying, "Hey, I want to make sure that when I go to college, I don't just take on a bunch of debt for no good reason." Right? I think it's really important, and I think it's a good message. And we're really proud of where we are in terms of our debt to earning power ratio. A lot of employers. This is one of Dr. Tidwell's favorite slides. He loves to show all the employers that hire and come and recruit our students. It was really interesting. I was at before COVID, we had a school districts come and recruit at UT Tyler, and unfortunately there were more recruiters than there were students who were teachers. There was a huge demand there, but lots of great companies, and I'm sure you recognize some of them, that recruit from UT Tyler, and the president will take a lot of time and he'll wait and he'll click and say, and there's even more. Lots of great stuff. I can't do shtick quite the way he does. So the second pillar is student engagement and experience engagement. And that's one thing that we found that's really important is there's plenty of studies that find out that we've done in higher education that show a student is more likely to persist and graduate if they are engaged. And so we've undertaken a number of initiatives to help with engagement. We really are pushing and trying to empower our Greek life, NCAA athletics, lots of clubs and organizations, and so forth. A lot of partnerships that we're working. I know the president wanted me to mention that on at UT Tyler. We really have a lot of wonderful minds that we've collected. We have 300 plus PhD researchers doing research in all sorts of areas. And there's recently, because of the research that we're doing, the Carnegie classification recently reclassified UT Tyler as a doctoral research school, essentially we might call an R3 school. And so we're really excited about that. And then the U.S. News and World Report just moved us into the national category for national universities. So now we're in the same classification and competing with the same as Harvard, Yale, UT Austin. We're in the top tier of universities, and that's where they rank us with. And so we're competing with them. Yeah, no, it is. Thank you. Yeah. So we are a national university now. Now we have there's a lot of upper room on that list, but we're working to move up that list now that we're on the national stage. One of the things I'm really excited about is we have a new magazine that captures our research. It's called Forward, and it just came out. And if you want to get a copy of this, you can give me your business card. I'll make sure you send you a copy in the mail. You can also get it online. But one of the things we wanted to share with the community all the different research that we're doing that's impactful, and different things that our researchers are doing just about COVID. The cover story is about one of our faculty members is using VR technology to help people with dementia and help us understand dementia and how to provide good therapy for that. So it's a great product that kind of shows and showcases the awesome things that our researchers are doing. So research is a huge part of what we do. I think one of the articles in there, if you get a chance, is on one of our faculty members who's doing great work to combat the opioid epidemic and some of the other addictions that go on that unfortunately is somewhat prevalent in some areas here in East Texas. And so a lot of this research hits close to home. We also have the UT Tyler Press. It's a new initiative where we're publishing our first academic press. One of the things I did want to point out is right now, one is creating cheap or free textbooks because we want to lower the cost of education. So we have a political science and a Texas history books that are absolutely free. The digital version, the print version, we sell at the printing cost. And so you'd be surprised, you walk into a bookstore, if you're going to buy your books, $200, $300 for a textbook. It's amazing how much they cost now, and so we really want to make sure that students, again, don't, they say, oh, I can pay for college, but then they run into this huge expense for books, and we're trying to fight that with the UT Tyler Press by printing some of our own stuff. We're also doing some other Texas history books and Texas legacy books as well, and some projects that we can announce soon, but not quite yet. Just want to point out that UT Tyler is accredited by top accreditors, and I think one thing I think people sometimes don't realize is that these same accreditors here are the same accreditors ABAT, as the engineering accreditations, top one, same one that would accredit at MIT, AACSB, the same accreditors that credit Harvard Business School, credit our business school. And so we have the very top and best accredited colleges that you can get. There's no other accreditations that you can't get. I see Paul's looking at his watch.
No, you're still good. That's good. You're good.
So again, these are some of the schools, again, that you recognize that have very similar accreditations that we do. And so I think it's really important for us to say, hey, that we are academic, we have academic excellence here in East Texas, and it's an absolutely important message that we tell you. You are not, if you stay to study here in East Texas, you are not sacrificing the quality of your education. Community engagement is something that's been really important to us. Pillar number 4, getting out into the community. The president likes to talk about saying, hey, we need to take our intellectual capital and share it with the community. And that's been really, really important for us. We have our 100 Communities Initiative, which has really been going out, and Dr. Laura Jackson, I don't know if any of you guys know her or not, she's been around East Texas for a while. She leads our effort, and she and her team, Brittany Childs and Brandon Reynolds, they go out and they're meeting in some of the smaller communities, saying how can we help. Some of the results of that have been some of we secured a federal grant, and we've opened entrepreneurship offices through our small business development operation to help create jobs in East Texas. And so just even yesterday, I believe, we were in Marshall, and we opened an office there to help support entrepreneurs and give them resources. And so we're in all sorts of places there, focusing on one of the projects the president wanted to mention was that we have students from our Souls College of Business who are helping communities create marketing plans for their community, all sorts of stuff. One of the ones I'm really interested in is our new College Readiness Initiative. It's where we have graduate students in our graduate education program who are going into high schools all over East Texas, and they are spending time with students, helping them say, hey, I need to get into college. It doesn't matter which college you're going to, but how do I fill out the FAFSA? How do I apply? What do I need to do? Particularly for first generation students whose parents might not be familiar with the process. So the community engagement has been a really important part for us to get out into the community and help students get into college and take advantage. But also too, we do a lot of research for local businesses. The Hibbs Institute does economic research, and we share that as well. And we're always looking for opportunities for community engagement. So one final one was this is Intune, which is a community partnership. This is our mobile health clinic, which we launched last year. It's been amazing how relevant it's been, because it has been all over East Texas providing COVID testing, free COVID testing in underprivileged communities. And so again, out there in the community, our nurses in our nursing program volunteering to help administer those tests. And so it's been, again, a great opportunity for us to really use our firepower at the University of Texas at Tyler to really help all of East Texas. And so that is the brief, quick update of what's going on at UT Tyler. I'd be happy to take any questions.
The 40% of your enrollment is transfer students. Two-part question. One, is that typical in a university to have that percentage to be kids that started somewhere else? And the second part of the question is, where are those kids coming from and why?
So the answer is no. We're probably, in terms of universities of our size and stature, we probably are a little more heavy on transfers. I would probably say 20% is probably a more typical average for universities in our region and so forth. But I think one of the reasons why, number one, is East Texas has a very robust and very mature community college program, right? Lots of great community colleges, and so have great offerings. And so, and they have, and for certain students, they can, be appropriately appealing. So I do think the other reason why is there is a perception that sometimes cost can be a factor as well. And so sometimes you see that, or sometimes you see students who don't know what they want to do yet. And so they say, I don't know which program I want to enroll in, so I might go finish some classes at a community college first, and then go and do that.
So a TJC kid counts as a transfer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. TJC, Kilgore, TBCC, and all over. I mean, really all over. Absolutely. Great question.
Is that the majority of the transfer students come from junior college or 4 years?
No, from junior college. Yeah, community college, yes. The majority of the transfers are community college students, absolutely. I would say huge majority, absolutely. Yes, sir.
I graduated from Tyler just a couple more weeks than 29 years. I wanted to reinforce the Pillar 3 and the accreditation. I got a degree in industrial technology. It was before you had engineering. And you didn't have ABET accreditation back then, but you got it shortly thereafter. And
So you got
that
that.
is key. That is important stuff. It didn't do me any good. I run a profit at a non-profit rate. But
Thank you,
point
absolutely.
that out. You are.
Well, I know, and I know the faculty did a really good job to make sure that just the engineering, College of Engineering, Dean Keeperos, they just finished their ABET accreditation from them, so I appreciate the shout out.
He didn't tell you his dad's his boss and he's at the table, did he?
Yeah. Glad you're back, BJ.
Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate the time to give you an update.
That was really wonderful, Lucas. I learned so much that I thought I knew everything about UT Tyler, but I learned a lot today. Thank you very much. And I want to tell you that for your time, we're donating a book to the Literacy Club in your name. And we'll get you a certificate later. Okay? Thank you very much. Okay, and now it's time for the Ace of Diamonds drawing. We'll move that to next week.
Okay.
So, Lucas, if you don't mind drawing a ticket and reading the last 3 numbers, we'll see if we've got a winner here today for our Ace of Diamonds.
We've got 32 tickets. And
You mean 32 cards?
Cards.
Okay.
And $1,439.
Ready? Last 3 numbers.
Yes.
9, 7, 2.
972.
That's an area code.
972. Going once. Jennifer, you have it there?
No, but it's really close to mine. It's close to the 10 there.
972.
Well, you can't be troubled to look at your ticket, you lose.
Yeah.
Wait, I think it's Pete. Is it? Are you 972? You're
Back there.
Thank goodness it's not one of us old people.
Oh, I love it. Oh,
Our guest, Pete, best guest.
Well, he's
And our
potential member, yeah.
our prospective
Yeah.
new member. And if he draws the Ace of Diamonds, he gets half of the pot. The other half comes back to the club. And so it's a lot of fun. Well, we got that part. 8 of Diamonds. So close, but yet so far. Thank you all for coming today. If you'll stand and join me in the 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? We're adjourned. Thank you so much again.
Okay.
So what next?
We move into next week.
Okay.
Because
Them get their shot. Yeah, no mask for the picture. Hey, Jason. Yeah, I told you.
just one of them with their
Alex
parents.
and Josh.
Okay.
Want to get with Adam.
So I don't get fired.
Now,
Okay.
you lift your mic with your parents.
Sorry, Si, you got food and stuff.
That's a lot of photography.
I know.
Republican convention. Press guy.
I know.
Ready? Good looking face.
Those are awesome. How's that looking? Oh, good. We got January? Almost January. Awesome. How are we doing on bell ringing?
I don't know.
Okay.
Thank you. Good looking family here too. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Have y'all with us today?
What? Tell me what this Okay, outstanding high school senior students, Smith County. You guys are starting in October. And there are 2 students in May. And so you're, thank you so much. All right.
Write you a check, or I'm gonna check with you.
I'll email you what you owe me. You're good. You're good.
I'll use his card.
Oh.
Ask him what he owes.
I know, and look, it's not me, you, right? Oh, I know he will. That'd be great. We send out, the school actually picks them. We don't pick them, the school picks them. Now, Ryla, we can pick them to go to. Well, not our club. I think you guys are sponsored by TREE. Because our kids are Career Technology Center. We have All Saints. We added early college high school this year, and those are the ones that we have because we don't want to step on. Because there's 3 Rotary clubs in Thailand, so we don't want to step on anything. I know, it's so good to see us. Now, what is Sonny's actual title now?
He is Deputy Fire Chief.
Okay, so I figured he was fire chief, but I wasn't sure. Okay. Got it.
Hopefully soon, maybe.
Okay.
Give me my card so you can send me that in for us.
Okay, I just have the receipt from Bobby's and that's it, and I don't know how.
Do you want to just give it to me, or you want to send it to me?
I can email it to you. I've got a screenshot of it, and then I can scan it and email it better than one send a picture I've got. So yes. Nice to meet you. And I'm so sorry. Today was a little crazy. So my brain's a little. It happens. It happens. Okay. Just email me. Okay. Just email me, and I'll. Because do I have your email address? It's on here.
Yes, ma'am.
So I will just put it there to make sure that I.
I'm going to be figuring all this out, so I will bring it with me.
You can bring it, or you can scan it and email it to me. It's at my email address. It's at the top. It's that Tyler Rotary AA at Outlook. Okay? All right. Thank you. It's good to see you.
Leave the man.
Okay.
You can leave it outside or here.
Oh, you can get it. I'm just a pack mule. It's okay. It's all right. I'm used to it.
Oh, and I will forward you the flyer. He's talking about the flyer I sent to you. Yes.
So what's your
That's the one that you.
Oh, okay.
It's nothing new. So you can
Okay.
Send it or send it to you. I don't have the updated list of submissions.
Yeah. I have it. I I can download it and send it to all that. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Oh, you need your badge.
Oh, yeah. See? Yeah.
Saturday, I will be in my spot at 7 a.m. Oh, my Lord.
And dress warm. Dress warm.
My dogs are all going to be looking at me like,
Thank you.
We're still sleeping, Mama. Get out of here.
Those there. Colby will help me.
What part do you work in?
University center.
Okay.
So all the
These I have to
building, all the things that go along with it, appropriating all the things.
It's this past summer. So I was looking, like, I couldn't remember because I went up there because I graduated from college of business. So I went up there. It was just
Well, I'm actually in the doctor's program right now. I have one more assignment tomorrow. Well, I'm finished with coursework, and I have a preliminary exam, 50 pages due in 3 weeks.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It is.
So what's your doctorate?
Organizational development, human resource development, but it focuses on organizational development and change.
She's an underachiever, right?
Yeah, and you've been doing the parade at the same time you're doing your doctorate? Okay.
And she has a 4-year-old.
Help me.
You know, I wish I had thought earlier about it being like.
That's why it's for the
Sand.
young. The brain still totally works.
Yeah.
So probably just text me. No, my phone number goes here. We can talk Saturday.
Oh, yeah. That lady wanted to know, and I didn't know you know. So this has been on No. There was one lady, I need to turn that phone off, it's not this contact, look. I haven't had it on in a week or so. Yeah, because I don't use anything else. So it's on duty all the time.
Oh.
All right, well, I'm gonna go. Hopefully, have enough
Thank you,
emails.
ladies, for everything.
Yeah. And I have.
That one company from yesterday called me back after I sent them an email to let them know. And then,
You know what?
You're getting 7 box. I'm not sure this is
Lupita,
Yeah.
to bring me another box and a bag.
Bye, Jay. Bye, y'all.
Bye, honey, thank you.
You're welcome. So A Plus Kitchens in Greater Texas. Do you want to hold on to them in case they show up, or do you want me to? Well, I don't want you to do something extra that you don't need to do.
I'm taking this pie home. Well, you know they can't reserve it.
Not these days.
Nope. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I am so glad to see you. I was not being, I was being honest.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm so glad to see you.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. I just tried to lift my fingers.
Well, I know, I do that out of habit, and I think that every time I get bananas, I'm gonna put them in a bag of bushes. And yeah, I'll get
And
it.
I'm trying to find.
There's an apple.
Okay.
And there's a and I stuck my wrist in something. I sure hope it wasn't that dressing.
It might have been a little bit of that, sour cream.
We still
Oh, I bet it was the water.
don't have a lot of signups for bell ringing.
All right.
This is not
Thank you,
good.
thank you, Jim.
Well,
This is not
That's
good.
next week.
I know.
And it's,
I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots open at Brookshire's, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4
Let me write you
at
something.
Dillard's.
Let me write you something.
And I'm doing 2 shifts.
Let me write you something, and you send it out over my name to get that finished to the club.
Okay, thank you.
All right?
that's why I pointed out there were 2 pages nobody's
Right.
putting on Rice Road or Brookshire's.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, that is.
Jennifer, put me where you need me most after
I was
5. Okay.
staging that, I will do that.
Oh, here's something else. Okay. All right.
I check it.
We're getting people transferring and.
We're growing like crazy.
Yep.
And I love DDM. And I know people get tired of the soft, sweet,
Yeah.
lovey, of Pamela, but it's bringing people in.
Oh, I know.
It's really doing
The other part about it is,
This looks like what's working out there.
because today our sound came through up there.
it.
I don't know who that is.
I was trying to test this.
You know what? That's probably Sunrise and they didn't put it away.
Because this thing, when you're talking, it just goes dead. It's not dead.
No, but it's something wrong with the mic because
It
I
is.
checked the battery.
Yeah, we've
And the
done-
battery's hot.
Yeah.
All the way
And we
charged.
replaced the battery a couple weeks ago and.
The battery's always hot.
And-
Oh,
and
did
we
you get
thought
that
it was-
$100? Yes.
I thought it was a switch, but it's not. And I was messing with it, trying to get it to do
And
it.
these are
Totally
out of
my
expertise.
This belongs to Howard.
Yeah, somebody used this morning. No, not this morning, yesterday.
Does this microphone, is this the only microphone Holly Free owns?
Why, you need it?
It doesn't work.
It don't work?
It's intermittent.
It goes, you talk along and it just goes dead.
It seems like it does fine and then all of a sudden it
It's
stops.
almost like if it's a.
And then it comes back on and then it goes off again.
No, we've been noticing it.
It's been doing it for weeks.
For about a
The
month.
battery's been changed. It's not the battery. It's a problem with the microphone.
Yeah.
Do you want these?
Yes, please.
Name tags.
Well, no, this is the house.
Yeah, she said this belongs to them too.
Yeah, but. Well, I can tell you, if we go to that, you're gonna hear the difference, because that's gonna not sound like it.
Right.
It's not gonna be as.
You've turned your name tag, right?
Well, I'm not sure we should go to that, but it's here, is all I'm saying.
Well,
I think,
I turned in that bid sheet,
okay?
so it's up to President Walters.
Yeah.
Thank you for all you do.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hey, I can't do it all by myself.
Well, I think maybe there's a short. Usually when you have a microphone and you're speaking, you go there, then it comes back on. It's complicated because there's heat buildup. These are not real microphones, and they don't hit with big drop. Yeah, here. No, personally, I like this better.
I'll be all out there. But as long as this is here, I've got a case system, screw in this and get that out of it. Not perfect. It can't be for veterans. I talked to Sheffield yesterday, late, driving here. And, DJ was one of those properties. You get better than expected. A lot better than expected.
Yeah, for my birthday.
Well, it was just kind of a discombobulated day.
You think?
Year, month and year. Well, that's true. Very, very, many months.
Remember installation.
Oh. What is our program? Oh,
Memory lines.
Really, we're going to have several inductions. That needs to be that would need to be a program. Definitely have several.
I know, that's the ideal situation.
And then that gives the new inductees time to share who they are and share here's the form.
Thank you. That's the ideal situation, but when you've got programs stacked and stacked and stacked, you know, and it's because you never know how many you've got to induct, so. No. Yeah, Ashley sent me the parade lineup with people assigned to each slot. She sent that at midnight last night. 12:05 this morning, actually. Oh, she's been.
See you later.
See ya. Thank you so much.
Does everybody know that they're assigned to a slot?
When they check in, they're going to have a list that shows them where they are, and they know what slot, and they'll have a master map to know where to go.
Does that include the people around the band people?
So
I should know that. I need that copy.
Because I think you were on that email. She sent it at 12:05 a.m. I moved it so I can find it. And if we ever have to do more checks like this, I have the template at Office Max there on Broadway. And all we have to do is change this,
Yes, and that.
those, and that, and they can do it. So we don't have to pay them a setup fee, which is good because they saved it under Tyler Rotary Foundation.
But we'll do that every year.
I mean, it was $20 to $22 to set it up, and then it's like $25 for each of those checks. But that size is great.
Mm-hmm.
I like that size better. Yeah, the big ones. Well, we had to for the $50,000 one. Did you see anything from Ashley?
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, that's who sent out that.
I've got this one. That's just came in.
I'll look at it and see if it's banned. Because they're with the chairs, I would think it is. I'll have to look when I get home.
If you don't mind, just go ahead and forward it to the water, and I just.
I know, and I've got to print name badges and get that all ready to deliver to Fran tomorrow.
This is this Christmas parade map and lineup.
Yeah. Does it have a what time did that come in?
9:49 p.m. yesterday.
No, there's another one after that. Okay.
But I wasn't on that list.
Okay. I'll look at it when I get home. Okay. All right. You're welcome.
See you Saturday morning.
Oh, yeah.
They work 24/7 scanning online transactions, and they look for irregular patterns in your spending, mysterious account openings, and more. They look for signs your identity has been stolen, and other people are using your data. And when they see something, they get in touch with you immediately to confirm the problem. And they have, perhaps the best thing of all, they've got a restoration team. They assign people, if something does happen, if you do get hacked like this, they assign the restoration team to work with you and stick with you until it's fixed and resolved. There's nobody that does that. Sign up today at LifeLock.com. Make sure you use my name. You'll save 25% off your first year's plan with LifeLock. That's LifeLock.com, promo code RUSH.
Thank you, Rush. You will not believe what I'm going to screen this so I can do a play-by-play for you in a little bit here. But there's evidence out of Georgia. And I want to be able to do a play-by-play, dramatic undertaking. But I'll give you this. In Georgia, they were counting ballots, and then they decided to tell people to go home. So a bunch of people leave the room. Out from under the furniture comes suitcases. Guess what's in the suitcases? Yeah, explain it in full. Just a bit. Earlier in the program, I took a call from a gentleman named Greg who called to complain that's me, who is against the big bank bailouts, against paying paying them off for having driven our economy into the basement, with making loans to people who had no chance to pay it back, which is cruel to the people, and precipitating the housing crash, etc. This young guy named Greg called. And he'd made the decision to take out a $5,000 loan because he wanted to be a PE teacher. And then just in conversation, we were trying to figure out why he felt like it was our responsibility to pay his debts that he took out. He happened to volunteer the fact that though he wanted to be a PE teacher, he was, quote, working at the time, delivering pizzas. But he wasn't working. He was on the phone with the Rush Limbaugh program, not, in fact, delivering pizzas, but he was on the clock. If that wasn't interesting enough, then he said that he really regretted the 11 years ago he took out this $5,000 debt that he wants us to pay. And then he informed us of the fact that the reason he wasn't a PE teacher, he felt, was because he had an assault charge. That he was convicted of assault. He assaulted his dad, and he volunteered this to us as well by way of his defense. And of course, at that point, he'd sort of unwired himself, but I don't think he knew that. I think he called and told his friends, man, I just set everybody right on the Rush Limbaugh program. John from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, wanted to address just that thing. John, welcome to Rush's show. It's Todd Herman filling in the Rush Limbaugh Show.
Hi, Todd. God bless Rush, America, and Merry Christmas.
Indeed. Merry Christmas and God bless Rush and America, yes.
Usually at work, so I don't have the opportunity to call. I've been with Rush since 1989, but Greg motivated me to call. It's very frustrating to hear these young people request from hardworking people to bail them out for their choice to go to school and accept these loans. His argument with bailing out the farmers doesn't compare to apples to oranges, doesn't hold water. They weren't asking for the tariffs. But I had a very interesting story I needed to share in regards to Greg's call. It's in regards to a friend who died, self-made man, straight out of the bayou, whose daughter delivered a eulogy to him. Her first words were, "Dad, I hated you because you wouldn't pay for my college." Her second words were, "Thank you. You gave me the greatest gift a father can give a daughter by helping me to learn how to stand on my own 2 feet." It really impressed me and says everything that we need to know. And I'm so sad that these kids nowadays do not know how to learn or have not learned how to stand on their own 2 feet. And that needs to happen for anyone to move forward. And whatever happened to ask not what your country can do for you.
Yeah. Well, and I would say this, I was a little bit snarky with Greg because I'm that way sometimes when someone is wanting to reach into my pocket and force me to pay for something that they didn't consult me about. And I'm that way because I didn't have the advantage of a college degree. That was my decision. My mom would have paid for me to go to college. There's other ways I could have done it. I decided to drop out and pursue my own path in life. And I'm very blessed, and I've worked extremely hard. I still work extremely hard. But I said to him, and I meant it, that I hope that he will at one point accept responsibility, because if you don't accept your failures, you cannot take credit for your successes. You simply cannot say, this is something I did right, this is something I earned, if you don't also say that I earned the problems that I created for myself. And sometimes, look, there's extenuating circumstances. I don't know Greg's home life. I don't know what it was like. I don't know what his dad was like, but I do know that 11 years after the fact, that that's the excuse for no progress in your life, that's a poison. And it's a poison that I think get into kids' heads, particularly in this society that wants to feed kids very much the line that you are either a victim or you're a perpetrator of victimhood upon others. It's a great call, John. Thank you for that. It's very, very impressive. Thanks for calling Rush's show and for being with Rush all these years. We just made the case